The dawn of apocalypse is almost upon us, but first, we must go back in time to the days of futures past. I am Mike Wayne, aka Rebel 180, and this is my personal premiere review of X-Men Days of Future Past. Now, this movie is the one that everyone says corrected everything that people hated from the third movie. Every character that died in the third movie, and even in this movie, comes back. And this is the film debut of the Mutant Quicksilver, which I'm going to talk about. It starts out in the future, and they're all fighting the Sentinels, and later on they send Wolverine back in time. It was originally going to be, now in the comics, it was supposed to be Kitty Pryde, the one that can go through walls and everything, but instead it ended up being Wolverine, and they explained why. You see, Charles Xavier wanted to go back, but Kitty said that his mind would not be able to survive the trip. So they sent someone whose mind could be repaired faster than it gets damaged. So he gets sent back in time to the 70s, and he looks for Professor Xavier, and he finds out that Professor Xavier is basically some depressed asshole, and and he finds Hank at the door, and Hank says there is no professor there, and then they get into a fight, and the professor, Charles Xavier stops him, and he basically says, "I'm going to tell you what you once told me, fuck off." And he later convinces him and all this, and they use Quicksilver to break Magneto out of prison, and the reason why he's in prison is because apparently he was the one behind JFK's assassination. You know, that whole magic bullet theory? Yeah. And a little quick thing I want to just address. It 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 really it's really sort of confusing why anyone would go through all the trouble to hack nude photos of Jennifer Lawrence when she's practically naked in all of the movies that she's been in. And unlike Rebecca Romijn, she actually shows more of her whole body than Rebecca Romijn ever did. And I find that really odd that people. I mean, I know she's blue and some parts of her are covered up by those dots or whatever, but I mean, her ass is kind of exposed. Uh, you know, but it's like, it's weird. I mean, you can kind of imagine what she really looks like, but, whatever. Uh, they go to prevent Mystique from killing Trask, who is the whole reason why the Sentinels exist, and therefore he must be taken out. And she tries to kill him the first time, then gets electrocuted by Major Stryker, the guy who gave Wolverine his adamantium bones, his adamantium claws. And, Wolverine sort of loses it after a while. He sort of gets taken out of the past. Well, his future mind is taken out of the past. His body is still there. Anyways, Magneto tries to kill Mystique to ensure that none of that happens. He doesn't do it. So They go through the whole movie trying to convince her that it's a bad idea, that she'll bring on the horrible future that Wolverine has already lived through. And so, they go through the whole movie trying to convince her, and I'm just going to skip right to the very end because I don't have a lot of time to explain any of this. But basically, uh, she, basically Magneto hatches this scheme to make the humans fear mutants so that they wouldn't try anything. Anyways, he tries to kill all of the people in charge of the Sentinel program. Mystique stops him. She tries to kill Trask and eventually gets convinced that it's a bad idea. And Wolverine, the very last moment of the future, everyone's dying in the future and everything, and Wolverine's drowning, and then he wakes up from a dream, and every single person that died in the third movie and in this one, they are all back, and basically everything is restored, and this is why people like this movie. This is why people think this movie is the greatest thing of all time, because, like, they're even saying that this is better than the Avengers, which is kind of questionable. But that's why everyone thinks this is the best thing of all time, because it's sort of corrected all of the mistakes that were made in the third one. Anyways, basically, Wolverine, at the very end, gets saved while he's drowning, and Major Stryker, which is actually Mystique, she turns out, apparently she's going to be now the one that, apparently now she's going to be the one that starts the whole Weapon X project. If that even makes any sense, I don't know. But then, the after credit scenes, I don't know if this is Apocalypse or not, but this person is like making these pyramids and everything, and people are bowing to him. So that's going to be pretty fun. And we're also going to get the return of Gambit in the next one, I hear. And he's going to be played by Channing Tatum, which, when you think about it, Channing Tatum kind of looks like the guy they had playing Gambit in X-Men Origins, if you can think about that. So, there's not enough time left. The reason why I skipped through all of the essentials is there's not a lot of time left before my webcam goes completely haywire. So, I'm just going to leave you with this. This movie was really, really great. Not better than Avengers, but really great. I think I'm going to give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. That's the best I can do. So, I am Mike Wayne, aka So Long For Now.